Yes, they've been part of the most famous basketball team in the world for more than 3 generations. And they're here to put their own spin on soap talk. So everyone put your hands together for the Harlem Globetrotters!
Not bad, Curley. Where you going, man? That's around the world, ain't it? Yeah. What you got, D?
Oh, I got some stuff.
Oh, you got. How about down there? Oh, that's good. What you doing, bro?
What's going on, boo?
Where you going now? Hey, Curley, hey, we got something, brother.
Sorry.
Hey, Lisa.
Yeah.
I got it.
Hey, how are ya?
Good.
I got something special for you.
Okay.
Hold your finger just
Nice and
like
stiff.
We'll be all day, man.
Now she's got talent.
She's got it.
Hold on, Lisa. Yeah.
Great job!
Excellent.
Guys, please introduce yourselves!
Yes.
My name is Curley Boo Johnson.
Hello, Curly.
My name is Geese Ausbie.
Eugene Edgerson.
Wow. All right, Curly Boo, how long you been a Globetrotter?
This is my 17th year with the season.
Wow.
So we have 3 generations of Globetrotters here.
Yes.
Wow.
How
Now,
long?
Curly,
How long you been?
41 years.
Wow. And how about you?
I'm the new guy of this bunch right here. This is only my 2nd season with the
All
World
right.
you're the baby!
I'm the baby.
There you go. Now, how do they find, like, how did you, is there some place that they go to try and find future Globetrotters?
Yes,
or?
we have a Globetrotter scout, and he travels around looking for the best talent in the world.
Really?
He gave me the opportunity to come and try out. I had to go to a training camp. Training camp was for 2 weeks, 2-day practices, all basketball. There's no tricks that go on at training camp. 5-on-5 drills, conditioning drills, superb athletes.
Wow.
Got my chance.
Can I ask you a question? Can I just touch your hair? I love it.
Now, Curly, I hear that you are one of the world's best dribblers. Is that true?
That's what they say.
I'm sorry. These gentlemen don't believe you. Can you give us a little demo?
Okay, I'll show you what I got.
All right. What you got, Curly?
Let's see something special, Curly.
What's
Tap that thing, Curly. Tap that thing, Curly. You can go faster, Curly. You can go faster. There you go, brother.
I think we got it now. That's well done. So you're going to show us a few tricks here?
Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to teach you guys something magical to do with the basketball, and then we're going to have a magic circle amongst ourselves.
Really? We get to be part of the
Now,
circle. All
Lisa,
right.
you're first.
Uh-oh.
Now, when you become a Globetrotter, you learn how to use different parts of your body. So we're going to teach you how to use
now.
the derriere.
Okay. I ain't gonna look.
So you take that ball between your leg, behind your back,
Catch time.
You ready to catch, Ty?
right off the glove. Okay?
Nice
Now,
and easy.
You can do it.
Should we have everybody stand back?
Okay. So what you do,
Okay.
take it between your legs,
Go here.
There you go.
take it behind your back.
Yeah.
Right off the glove. Okay?
All right, Ty.
All right. Yeah. My main man Eugene's got something for you.
Something for you,
what you got?
Ty. Again, you always want to set up your pass. Under the leg.
Yeah.
Going to take it around the back.
Yep.
Hold it there.
Yeah.
Going to bend over.
Yeah.
You're going to take a step, and you're going to flip it.
Okay. So under the leg.
Under the leg.
Right?
Take it
Behind
behind
your
your
back.
Then.
Good job.
Take a step.
Good job.
I think we're ready. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Now, if you get in the magic circle with us, you gotta look like a Globetrotter.
This is good stuff.
We got to outfit you.
Geese, how many games have you played in over the years?
There you go.
I've been over about 10,000 games.
10,000.
Wow. Oh my
Unbelievable.
gosh.
Guys, thank you so much for
Oh,
this
you're very
jersey.
welcome.
An honor.
Wow, you guys.
All right, we're in a circle.
Yeah.
We got a little circle here.
Okay. this? I'm gonna come over to this side. Can we do
Right
like
here.
this sort of
Right
half
here.
circle?
Right here, Ty.
All right. Well, I think I'm gonna have. All right. I'll do it this way.
Right there.
Now everybody
You guys
remembers
get
what
my
they're
back.
gonna do, right?
Remember your pass.
Yeah.
All right. I remember my pass.
Between your leg, behind your
Okay.
back.
I don't forgot mine,
All
man.
right.
Yeah.
Who do I do it to?
To me.
To you.
Okay.
All the passes
This
will be
way.
going to the right.
Go to the right.
You always go to the right.
Yeah.
Going to the right. Okay, first we all gonna touch the basketball. We're gonna pass it around a little bit. All right.
All right.
All right. All right, give it back to you.
Okay, I'm gonna start it off.
Okay.
All right. Ow. Oh, okay, there it comes. All right. Now do your thing.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
It's coming to you, Lisa. This
Over
is
here?
coming to you. Okay. Between your leg, behind your back.
Yes, sir. Do it.
Nice and hard.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much.
Find out how
Georgia Brown. This guy has been above and beyond from border to border and coast to coast. He has worked both hemispheres and then some as a member of Abe Saperstein's original Harlem Globetrotters, one of the last pure vestiges of family entertainment. It's a pleasure to pick it up with a guy who I've known now for a pretty good chunk of time, a guy who is an absolute wizard, as you can see on this slab of videotape. When was the last time you saw Muggsy Bogues? When was the last time you saw Scottie Pippen? When was the last time you saw anybody connected with the NBA make the basketball talk like that? We join Curley Johnson. Curley, my friend, how you been, buddy?
I'm doing just fine, Chet.
Given the kind of schedule that you work in particular, when you're with the Trotters International Unit, when you're overseas, and you're playing 7, sometimes 8 or 9 games a week, are there ever times when you think to yourself, when I'm 40 years old, I'm going to have a 70-year-old body?
Yeah, I think about that all the time, but I'm not sure if I want to play till I'm 40. I'm 28 right now, and my goal was to play 10 years with the Globetrotters now, and this is my 7th. So I'm not sure if I want to play till 40 years of age, but I'm what you would call an old 28 years of age.
If you're going to be a member of the Harlem Globetrotters, obviously you've got to have the legitimate fundamentals. You've got to be able to play basketball. Yes, they are the clown princes of basketball, but they are also fundamentally very sound basketball players. But if you don't have, for example, a facial personality, if you don't have the type of charisma that will show up once you put on that, that blue uniform, are you a waste of time as far as the Trotters are concerned?
I would think so, so to speak. You know, with the Harlem Globetrotters, there has to be some part of your game that you have to be able to entertain people with. And then all the countries that we travel to and playing almost every day, that you know, we have to do a lot of interviews and a lot of personal appearances. So you have to have the type of personality in order to deal with that. So they look for a special type of basketball player to play with the Harlem Globetrotters. First, you got to be a tremendous basketball player. Secondly, there has to be probably some aspect of your game that you have to entertain people with to make them, you know, raise to their feet in appreciation. And then thirdly, you have to be an ambassador of goodwill. And that's what the Globetrotters are, the ambassadors of goodwill.
When was the last time, for example, that Curley Johnson played in Egypt?
Oh, the last time I played in Egypt was my first year with the team, and that was the summer of 1989.
Uh-huh. What foreign country is most enjoyable for a Curley Johnson?
Someplace like, you know, being from the Midwest and, you know, having the cold weather. I like when we go down to the Caribbean and play, or maybe to, you know, the northern parts of South America where it's warm. Maybe Australia during their summer. It's nice. I like the warm places mostly.
Uh-huh. For example, during an average year, can you begin to estimate how many thousands of miles you'll travel as a member of the Harlem Globetrotters?
Well, I would imagine that, you know, I end up getting probably 3 to 4 frequent flyer tickets from 3 or 4 different airlines a year. We go to probably 30 countries a year, Chet, and travel to another 30 to 40 states in the United States. So, man, we pile up the frequent flyer miles, no doubt about that.
You do have two units, the international unit and the national unit. Is there always a Harlem Globetrotter basketball team in action 12 months a year?
Almost. I would have to say 10 months out of the year, because at one time both teams are idle right before training camp so that they can rest up, because the schedule is so hectic. You know, being on the road 8 to 9 months out of the year, you have to give the players some time off to let their bodies rest, because it's grueling. And everyone thinks that it's the glamorous life to be a Harlem Globetrotter, but it's tough. You have to be in great shape, and you have to constantly keep yourself in good condition. So even though we do have time off, Chet, you see me when I'm at home in the summer.
Yeah.
You see me in the health club almost every day. So I really don't take a time off. I do take a time off from playing with the team physically, but as far as working out and everything away from basketball, I don't take any time off at all.
As far as you're concerned, is there anyone playing NBA basketball today who can dribble the rock with any greater authority or any greater showmanship than Curley Johnson?
I don't think so. I don't think so. For all the things I can do with the basketball, I'll put it to a test against anybody in the NBA, and I can do a million things with a basketball without even shooting it. And if you want to shoot it, I can do that too. So I just have that confidence about myself, and if there is somebody, then that's going to make me work even harder.
Do you feel like you're a gypsy? I mean, you pointed out something that needs to be pointed out, in my opinion, and that is that life as a Harlem Globetrotter is not all fun and games. It is hard work involving a great deal of travel. You're playing one-nighters. Exactly. Your schedule makers don't have you in a situation where you're going to max out playing 2 games and then you have a break, as is the case now in the NBA. You're playing virtually every day. A day off is a rarity. Are there times when you say to yourself, I just don't want to get on this plane, I'm sick of this?
Well, Chet, for one thing, you're very knowledgeable of the Harlem Globetrotters. A lot of people don't know that we play almost every day. You're very knowledgeable in that aspect. But I tell you, I look at this, Chet. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to play for the Harlem Globetrotters. And I take whatever comes to me. And I figured that this is just a small part of my life, and I have to give 110%. And I think about, being home, I'm homesick sometimes, but I love to go out there and entertain. This is what I wanted to do, and I can't let people down. I can't let the fans down if I go out there and I go through the game and not give 110%, because when people come to see us, they expect to see the magic that the Harlem Globetrotters are famous for, and I can't slip as far as that's concerned.
Darryl Dawkins, now a member of the Harlem Globetrotters. What about the Trotters? Are they fined if they make a mistake? Are they fined if they don't hustle? We'll continue our conversation momentarily with Curley Johnson, a veteran member of the Harlem Globetrotters, although by Trotter standards, still a pup. Believe me, there are Trotters who hang around for 25 years or better. We're back in a moment. About Loris, a tiny NAIA school over in Iowa. His name, Curley Boo Johnson, a member of the Harlem Globetrotters. Darryl Dawkins, the man who gave us the death-defying, Robinzine-crying, backboard-breaking, game-delaying, in-your-face disgrace. Is he a Harlem Globetrotter? It would seem to me that Darryl absolutely screams Harlem Globetrotter with that big smile of his,
yes,
and his flair for the showmanship. He should be a natural to work with you people.
I agree with you totally, Chad. Yes, he is a Harlem Globetrotter, to answer your question first, and he's with the, they no longer call the Globetrotters units international and national. Now that we're under new ownership with Manny Jackson, he calls one team the red team, the other the blue team. And I'm with the red unit, and right now the blue unit is in South America, and Darryl Dawkins is playing with that team right now. And I believe that they're going to make him a showman, and what I mean by showman is the funny man, the Meadowlark Lemon type, the Geese Ausbie type, the Goose Tatum type.
How much of what you do, let's take the people inside the huddle, How much of what the Harlem Globetrotters do is predicated upon the Washington Generals having the appropriate timing to make the act look good?
Okay. Well, a lot of what we do out there, you can tell is you know, the Generals may go along with it, or they may give us a basket, but what we try to do is give them those baskets back the next time down the floor and play real basketball a lot to make the game more competitive. You know, it's a real game besides the maybe some of the antics that we do. So it's a little bit staged, I should say.
You're being very, very diplomatic. However, I think it is important to stress. Other trotters have told me, for example, Tex Harrison, who's been with the Trotters for better than 30 years.
And still is with the team.
Exactly, and still works as an advance man for the Trotters. Told me that, yeah, you know, what a guy like Meadowlark Lemon used to do in the pivot, and the way he would operate, sure, it's part of the act. But we would play legit basketball about half the night. Does that sound right?
Exactly. Well, you're exactly right. But a lot of people don't know that the Harlem Globetrotters played the NBA champion at the end of the season, I believe in 1950 or 51, which at that particular time was the Minneapolis Lakers with George Mikan.
Right.
And a lot of people felt, well, if the Globetrotters are playing this trick style of basketball, how would that work against the NBA's best? And they played in Chicago Stadium, and the Globetrotters won the game. So, but then again, the Globetrotters really couldn't do a lot of the tricks and the things that they're probably most famous for until they had a lead against this team. And even today, we can't do a lot of the magical things that we're most famous for until we have a little bit of a lead. You know what I mean?
For years and years, by the way, in Chicago at the stadium, Ray Meyer, the longtime head coach of the DePaul Blue Demons, his son Joe, of course, now entering, I believe, his 11th year as head coach at DePaul. Ray Meyer used to take a band of college all-stars every year and play the Harlem Globetrotters, and inevitably, year in, year out, the Harlem Globetrotters would prevail. If you don't do certain bits, for example, the ream that opens up the act to the tune of Sweet Georgia Brown, do people get ticked off? I mean, for example, if I take my little boy out and I don't see the basketball come off with a rope, if I don't see the confetti up in the stands, if I don't see the drop kick from half court, as far as I'm concerned, that's not the Harlem Globetrotters.
You're exactly right, Chet. If you came to a Harlem Globetrotter game, if you didn't see the water gag and the bucket of confetti and the fancy dribbling, the long half court hook shots, and like you just said, you didn't see the Harlem Globetrotters. Okay? If you came to our game and we just played regular basketball, you would be disappointed. You're like, wait a minute, that's not the Harlem Globetrotters. If you want to see a good basketball game, you know, I live here in Chicago, you would go see the Bulls. Well, they're not playing that great yet, I guess, but you would go see the Bulls. But if you want to see good basketball and be entertained at the same time and have a good time, then you come see us. That's the difference, Chet.
The way you're able to dribble a basketball, the way you're able to make the rocks sing, how much time do you have to spend? I mean, that's not something you acquire overnight. That's not something you can maintain by just picking up a basketball and going out on the floor for 15, 20 minutes a night. How much of your time is spent legitimately concentrating on eye to hand so that comes the time that you're playing in front of 3, 5, 10, 15, 18, 20, 30,000 people, whatever the venue happens to be, you know that once you have that ball, and it's Curley Johnson time, and now they're going to spread the floor and give you the opportunity to work with a basketball and turn the crowd on, that you're not going to screw up.
Well, Chet, it's strange. It's like I've been preparing for this most of my life. When I was a young man.
Principally because of your father, correct?
Exactly, exactly. You're exactly right, Chet. Because of my father. My father was a great player. He played against the Globetrotters. He played with them. And when he retired from basketball when I was a young boy, whenever the Globetrotters would come to town, he would take me to the games. I would be in the locker rooms with Curley, Neal, Meadowlark Lemon, Geese, Ausbie, Marcus Haynes. And I learned from these guys. So all my life I've been able to do a lot of little crazy things with the basketball. But as I got older, and you know, started to get serious about basketball, I would practice every day just on ball handling alone, at least an hour a day, if not even more. Even today, my job is a very hard job to keep. There are so many good basketball players, so that's why you see me every day at East Bank Club working out. Whenever you're there, don't you usually see me?
Absolutely.
Is that true?
Absolutely.
And I'm up there in the gym, I'm in the corner, working on my ball handling, the things I do with the basketball that I have to do in the game every single day. So there's not a day that doesn't go by that I'm not messing around with the basketball. And if I don't go to the gym, I've got 10 basketballs in my house that I either go in the garage and work out, or in the basement, in the kitchen. I've broken lamps in the house. I've broken all types of glasses and light bulbs, and knocked televisions over and broke the picture screen. So that's what I've done to get to the point where I'm at today.
It's a tradition, by the way, at the East Bank Club. Curley Johnson dribbles a basketball, and I put on my sweats and watch an aerobics class. Curley, let me give you a wrap-up. Biggest crowd you have ever played in front of? Where?
Well, it was estimated at almost 40,000 people in Bolivia, my second year with the team. We played in a soccer stadium.
Did they have any idea what basketball was all about?
Yes, they did. Basketball is very popular in South America. And, you know, it's evident, you know, with 40,000 people, you know, climbing to a soccer stadium to see a basketball game outside on a court that they made just hours before, and it still had wet paint on the ground. They were crazy about us, and we had to be rescued out of the arena because they wanted to mob us. They were so happy with what we were doing with the basketball.
You ever get fined, by the way, by the Trotters for either not hustling or messing up, for example, getting lazy when you're dribbling the basketball? I've heard the Trotters are fined if they don't conform.
Yes, you're right. As far as my on-court play, I've only been fined once, and that was for a technical, and I was fined $100 for the technical. But like I said, I go out there every night. Whether it's 2,000 people out there or 20,000, I'm going to give the same exact show every night. So they haven't had to fine me for being lazy. But I have lost my temper a couple of times and have gotten fined for it. And under the new ownership with Manny Jackson, he is much more strict than the ownership that I was under in the past. And he makes us act accordingly and be role models that we are at all times.
Curley Johnson, great to visit with you again, my friend. I'll see you at East Bank sometime during the holiday season, I hope.
Okay.
Meanwhile, have a great 1995, and try to limit yourself to something under 400,000 miles, okay?
I will do that. You take care of yourself, Chet, and it's good to talk with you.
All right, buddy. Curley Johnson, always a great, great show, the Harlem Globetrotters. We are back in a moment. We'll talk with a man who has a mega
left, and the score tied at 59 apiece. It was Irma Robinson who held the ball and the Globetrotters' fate in his hands.
Irma steps, pumps his right leg as he does, and lets go his one-hand shot.
Irma Robinson, he wound that ball up in it when that whistle blew.
And as the shot goes into the air, the gun goes off.
I knew it was going in. I said, it's got to go in.
I didn't think it was good. I thought it was too far out.
The shot is still in the air and keeps soaring and comes down.
It went in.
The Globetrotters win in an absolute thrilling conclusion.
And I know I talked to Mike and them afterwards. The Lakers were shocked.
For fans of basketball, it meant this is a whole new dimension of the game. Blacks and whites can play together if we just let it happen.
So it wasn't just a win. It wasn't just that they defeated Mike, but they danced on his grave.
Goose Tatum with the ball, and the Globetrotters proceed to thrill and amuse with their adroit and fancy ball handling.
During the news, they showed this short clip of Marcus Haynes dribbling the ball.
Haynes steals the show, and the Lakers finally try to steal the ball, but our elusive and cool sport of the court doesn't quibble about that dribble.
That just absolutely put the Globetrotters right on top of the sporting world. And from that point on, they moved into the big auditoriums all over the country.
Certainly in 1950,
Big doings in the big town.
Madison Square Garden was the mecca of basketball.
Here's Marcus Haynes in action.
When they played in Madison Square Garden that year, and Marcus went into that dribble, that's when the worldwide attention or the nationwide attention got with him.
Great showmen and great basketball players. The Trotters rack up their 65th consecutive victory of the season. 75-60 over the Celtics in high court harmony.
They show the Paramount newsreel. A local flak writer for a Hollywood studio in New York sees it, cracks up, thinks it's the funniest thing he ever sees, signs a movie deal with Abe for the movie rights to the Globetrotters, parlays that into a contract with Hollywood, and ends up doing a Hollywood picture on the Globetrotters.
Listen, Townsend, the Globetrotters were always the best. So when we lose, it isn't just another ball game. It is a catastrophe.